Have the usual stress relief techniques failed you? Do racing thoughts keep you up at night and rob you of your sleep? These are signs that you could have a busy brain on your way to burnout. And if one more person tells us to just breathe, eat berries, and set a few more boundaries, ugh, your brain will just explode. I understand. And all these symptoms of busy brain going unchecked can lead to chronic disease and burnout. How do you know you have a busy brain? Do any of these symptoms sound like you? You're wondering, how do I get that much energy when I wake up in the morning? Girl, I need a venti latte with oat milk. And if the barista puts in whole milk, I am bitter with the capital B, spinning in my thoughts all day long. And I'm going to tell you, Romy, that it was just a latte. It was actually 3 energy drinks. But you get to work and there's multiple screens open in front of you and your phone, email, text messages, messenger channels going off, and you can't focus. You're wondering, do I have ADHD? Do I need medicine? Let me just have a little bit more caffeine and chase it down with a bagel or a donut or some other sugary snack just to get to the workday. And then you remembered you signed up for this class and lesson. And you're like, girl, I'm going to stand on self-care tonight. I am going to shut off my work at 5:01 p.m. pronto. But you can't take the edge off. So you need a glass of wine or 3. No judgment. And if you don't drink alcohol, maybe that overpriced supplement that you got from some Instagram influencer will be the salvation to your sleep problems. You are going to do everything you can to sleep tonight, but the minute you put your head down on the pillow, there are 72 warring conversations going on in your brain, and the least most important thought has hijacked you from your sleep. Or you fell asleep, but you wake up somewhere between 2:03 a.m. and 4:57 a.m. and you can't go back to bed. So you're like, let me just knock out a few emails and get a load of laundry done before the kids wake up. If you answered yes to any of those symptoms, you're not alone. Those are signs you have a busy brain. Hi, I'm Dr. Romy, and not only am I the founder of the Brain Shift Protocol, but I understand firsthand how having a busy brain can lead to chronic disease and burnout. I ended up in life-saving surgery from an unchecked busy brain and burnout, and have been working, researching the solution, because it turns out you and I are not alone. We looked at over 17,000 people to bring you the Brain Shift Cure to get to the root cause and heal your burnout. Now, welcome to a brain science break. I want to talk to you about the science of why busy brain actually happens and why the previous stress management techniques that were discussed prior to the pandemic may no longer be working for you. You didn't do anything wrong. It turns out that in this post-pandemic world, many of us are stuck on what we call a stress success cycle. That you want to succeed at all costs, but in order to do it, you're stressing yourself out. And in that stress success cycle, we get stuck on chasing energy all day from caffeine. And if it's not caffeine, it's prescription stimulants like Adderall or Ritalin that are being given incorrectly as peak performance medications. No. But then you're anxious and revved up all day from those stimulants, so you need something to calm down at night. And you take a sedative like alcohol or sleeping pills. You're not alone. In the pursuit of chasing success, we get stuck on the stimulant sedative cycle, and we're never satisfied. You reach your goal and you succeed, and then that nagging busy brain voice comes in your head and you're on chasing the next project. It turns out that there's a cure for this and what's known as a busy brain. So let's define busy brain. People hear that term and they often think it has to do with a never-ending to-do list, your email inbox, or the 24/7 news cycle that is invading our brains and lives from all angles. Turns out busy brain is a symptom of your brain. When we're under chronic unchecked stress on the way to burnout, neuroinflammation sets into the brain. And when that happens, we get three key symptoms: adult onset ADHD, or an inability to focus, ruminating anxiety, that negative thoughts and loops that are just stuck in your brain, and insomnia, difficulty falling and staying asleep. So those three symptoms, inability to focus, anxiety, and insomnia, make up a busy brain. And it turns out there's a root cause to it. It is not your fault that when we're under chronic stress, we get neuroinflammation in a part of our brain called the airport traffic control tower that I will get to in another lesson. But when we get that neuroinflammation, then we continue on this path of busy brain until we're burnt out and end up with physical symptoms just like I did. Anything that can be related to your digestion, inability to lose weight, hormonal imbalance, difficult menopause symptoms, low testosterone in men, a loss of libido, all of those things can be secondary to a busy brain. So when we have a busy brain, we can be stuck in a never-ending loop of negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and self-judgment that block us from moving forward on succeeding in our goals. For me, as you'll read in the best-selling The Busy Brain Cure, those negative thoughts take on the judgmental voices of my aunties, a global group of women who helped raise me. And I think of it right now. Here I am on set. I'm a woman in STEM. Fashion is not my passion. And feeling a little stressed, I was thinking, gosh, I forgot this beautiful blue scarf I was going to wear on set. Oh, she's looking for these. I took them. Such an auspicious occasion. Everybody will be looking at your wedding. So, of course, I'm wearing every logo I own. We took the Hermes blue scarf. And now I'll welcome you to this lesson's brain work. Brain work is a specific action you're going to take with every one of these lessons to help you heal a busy brain and get to the root cause of your burnout so that you can focus, tame anxiety, and sleep again. So I want to ask you, do you know your BrainSCORE? Here in the West, you can't do anything with your financial health without knowing your credit score. Rent a house, get a mortgage, buy a car. Yet, we often fail to know our BrainSCORE. In fact, research shows most of us don't think about our brain power and our BrainSCORE until we hear a loved one is starting to lose their memory and they may have dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Don't wait until you're set up against a challenge to figure out what your BrainSCORE is. So this week's brain work is, let's check your BrainSCORE. You can click the link right here in the lesson to take the Busy Brain test for free. In under 4 minutes, you're going to answer 20 simple questions that ask you things like, do you have difficulty falling asleep at night? I want you to think about the last 2 weeks and answer the question honestly. It either never happens, sometimes happens, or always happens. At the end of this Busy Brain test, you're going to get a score. And I want to know, did you score above a 30? Write your score down in your workbook and in fact, share it here with the community so you know that you're not alone. And I want to know, where does your score lie? Let's take a moment here to explain the different categories of how we score a busy brain. Now, if you scored under a 30, congratulations, you have brain power. And incidentally, in our research of over 17,000 people in the 24-month period that we were assessing brain scores, only 6% of people got under 30. That's why we're here together in this quest. If you have brain power, that doesn't mean you don't have external stress in your life. It's just you have the ability in your mind, body, and spirit to process that stress and continue to perform. Most of us fall above a 30. So if your score is between a 31 or 40, you have something I call a brain drain. There's an energy leak somewhere in the connection of your energy systems of your brain and your body. So it means things that normally energize you, like a great matcha latte or Hopping on your Peloton, going to a yoga class, or even great sex actually drain you instead of energize you. In the subsequent lessons, we're going to show you how to quickly plug that energy leak and heal that brain drain. Majority of the people fall with a score above 41. This means that you have a busy brain, that these symptoms of neuroinflammation are there from chronic stress that can be robbing you of your focus, causing you anxiety, and even difficulty with your sleep. And as we found, people have a score above 60, that's when the physical symptoms can start. Things that you may not even have realized were related to chronic stress and busy brain, not only in your brain, with your mood and your memory, but even things like in your digestion, acid reflux that's not responding to medication, or digestive issues that isn't responding to any cleanse. Do you get belly bloating no matter what you eat? That could be from a busy brain. We'll talk about the science of that in the next lesson. How about your weight? Are you struggling with weight management to get off that last 7 or 17 pounds since the pandemic? That could be a hormonal imbalance due to a busy brain, a low libido, a disruptive autoimmune system, going to the doctor and finding out you have diabetes and hypertension, all due to a busy brain. So where do you lie with your brain score? Let's go on to your brain work number 2. What are the symptoms you get when you are stuck on the stress success cycle? It's important to replace self judgment with self awareness. And then I want to ask you, how have you been dealing with these symptoms so far? Have you gone to a particular healer? Have you tried a particular supplement or medication? It's really important to know where you've come on the journey so we can take the next step together. So I invite you, take my hand, and together, let's brain shift. Now, let's go on to the next lesson.